repurposing your payroll, although, and we could have a totally separate discussion about the money. I mean, I go so far as to even say, looking, and this is where I joked, I know you laughed earlier when I said I don't even like the Dolans. I think they're cheap, but I clarify that with a kind of a caveat that I don't think that they're cheap because they don't sign $200 million contracts with guys. It's not that. It's not that I don't think they should have a $250 million payroll. That's not my definition of cheap. To me, looking at this team and knowing that you had an $85 million payroll, had you just gone, say, $100 million, you easily have the money to re-sign at least Scotty Kazmir, one of the starting pitchers that you let walk. And just, to me, it's that, and I know people say Oakland, and I say, cool, give me another team besides Oakland and Tampa that wins consistently with that payroll, because it also takes the right front office and the right prospects and all of that stuff coming together. But looking at this season for the Indians, it seems to me that extra 10, 12, 15 million on the payroll is the difference between, being where you're at now and trying to, go with what you got and not give anything away, and perhaps being in the driver's seat in one of these spots. It's just a slight difference. I don't know. Do you see where I'm coming from with that?
I see where you're going, but I don't think it's quite that easy. Nobody thinks they can afford a Lamborghini, but everybody wishes to drive a car a little nicer than what they have. And right. I think that's what you're trying to talk yourself into right now. And I think it goes back to the argument that I don't think there's any one player that would fix this. I mean, I think if this season, 4 months in, and I think if this season continues down the path that it has gone for 4 months, I mean, I think when we're talking in October of, why did the Indians go 83-79, I think we're going to say because Nick Swisher underachieved and Michael Bourne was hurt and he underachieved, and Justin Masterson and Asdrubal Cabrera underachieved and let them down. And I would say on paper coming into this season, I mean, with maybe the exception of the depth in their rotation, this team was put together to be successful, and guys just haven't played up to their level. I mean, Jason Kipnis is another one. I mean, they're stars. The guys that they put their eggs in that basket have not come through. And I think that's just the simplest way to look at it, is they have had a number of players let them down this year. And for all the, talk of reappropriation of funds and trying to compete in 2015, I think that will be the number one storyline for next year, is how many of those guys that are still on this roster are going to come back in 2015 and give you a 2013 effort statistically that they had, because that's the key to this team being better. I mean, they can go out and get themselves another starting pitcher, and I think, to go with what you were saying, if they want to open up, the payroll a little bit more, I mean, go ahead. I mean, I'm all for it. I'm not against spending. It's not my money.
No, I know what you're saying. I know where you're at, though.
But the thing is, if Nick Swisher hits 212, they're still not going to be very good.
And that's
Michael
it.
Bourne is
one of those
for
two,
half the year, and if
one
Michael
of those
Bourne's
two
going to be
can't
hurt
be on
for
this
half
team,
the year,
bro.
they're not going to be very good.
No, one of those two, in my opinion, cannot be on this team next season. And I think, obviously, the more tradable option is Bourne. You and I, like I said, we've talked about that a little bit, and we'll get into it more when you're past this season. But going back to, you can't have 38 point whatever million dollars of your payroll tied up in two guys, one of which doesn't play, and the other one, when he plays, doesn't hit. You know what I mean? You can't do it. You can't do that in New York, let alone you can't do that in Cleveland.
Yeah, and I love your dream that one of those guys won't be on the roster, but I think that it's a dream.
We were talking about it. You don't think that they can find I mean, I get it with Michael Bourne, and perhaps, if he comes back and has a decent run at the end of this, you don't think they can find somebody to take Michael Bourne off their hands?
No, I don't.
Damn. He said no.
Not after the last 2 years. Not after 3 trips
no.
to the disabled list. No, I don't.
I know Nick
Swisher's
not going anywhere.
His salary, and they don't eat salary.
I know. Trust me. I know, brother. I know. You and I were joking when I was told that they had 3 teams that had called about Nick Swisher. I'm like, did they need him to bring the guy that they were trading for to the airport? Like, I'm not sure what opened up the discussions on that phone call, but it's like, oh, yeah, man, 3 phone calls about him. And again, I'm like, wow, man, they must have wanted him to give the guy they were trading for a ride.
Yeah, I don't think I could have made it all. They probably fell through because they couldn't hold the phone call without
It was
laughter.
a rib. It was a rib on the Indians.
It was a crank. It had to be a crank call.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It was a rib. Billy Bean was sitting around bored, waiting to make his big trade, and he said, "You know what? Hey, Star 67. Yeah, Star 67, man. Call Shapiro. Call those guys up, man. Tell them we want Swisher. Tell them we want Swisher."
I don't see how anybody takes those guys for even 2/3 of their salary. I can't see a situation where the Indians would pay for 1/3 of their contract to go somewhere else. I just couldn't. But even if they did, I'm not sure that a team takes them for $10 million for the next 2 years. I mean, in the Indians' point of view, I mean, depending on how you work the deal out, I mean, they both have options for 2017, and if you're not controlling them, the possibility that option best, is out of your hands. I mean, depending on where they go, if they get healthy and play, you might be paying them to be on somebody else's team for 3 years instead of 2.
Man,
so
you're not going to crush my dream here, man.
I just don't see it.
No, I don't care what you see. You're not going to crush my dream here. The Indians are going to trade Michael Bourne in the offseason, and Nick Swisher is going to come to the realization that he just doesn't have it anymore, and he's going to walk away with his head held high from the game that he respects too much to go out there a shell of his former self. That is the way it's going down.
Hey, man, dream big. I mean, that's why I play the lottery every week, I mean, I
can't win if you don't play.
Too. Yeah.
Oh, man. Mike Brandenberry did the TryWinLastNight.com. Hey, before we go, let's look back at the second half of this series here. Heading down to Cincinnati for the Battle of Ohio. Part deuce here as they go back at it. Talk to me a bit. What do you think happens here on the way to New York?
I think tonight's a big game. Salazar is a guy who, I mean, now and into the future, I think he's a guy that's key. And I think every time he goes out there, I think you want to see improvement. I want to see consistency from start to start. And, that has started to happen since his recall. And I think, tonight's a night where hopefully he does that again. He gives the team a chance to win. And, then truth be told, you're probably rolling the dice with TJ House and running uphill tomorrow. But, I think it's important. I mean, every time Corey Kluber, Trevor Bauer, and Danny Salazar go out there right now, I think it's important to see those guys continue to string together good starts because that's important for now and into the future. And I think what Corey Kluber is doing this year is awesome, but his ability to do it again next year is going to be key. And, Bauer and Salazar getting to that level or close is going to be huge. And the faster they get there, the quicker the Indians will truly be competitive.
Bro, I can hear the Groundhog's Day winter conversation between you and I already. Well, there's people that say the Indians believe they've got Kluber, they've got Bauer, they've got Salazar. They don't need to add anybody to the pitching staff. I think we had a conversation like that once or twice before heading into this season. At least I know you and I did for sure. And speaking of House,
and I'll be singing from the heavens.
We've already
been down that road.
We have already done that. It's Salazar and Lados tonight. Tomorrow, TJ House against the man that caused all the problems with Justin Masterson to begin with. Had he not gotten paid, perhaps things would have went differently. One Homer Bailey takes the mound tomorrow.
Only in America can a guy be slightly over 500 and make as much as he will make.
Brother, he changed the course. I mean, things would have played out statistic-wise with Masterson probably the same. But look at the course of Indians history changed by the name Homer Bailey.
Yeah, maybe, but I'll say for Justin Masterson, he the Homer Bailey comparisons are long gone now. They were
even
effective in February, but yeah, what he's done to his value. I mean, if you want to talk about somebody coming back, I'll throw out a wild card that maybe they get him back on a 1-year deal or even a 2-year deal at a rate that we could have only dreamed of.
You know what?
6 months ago.
Funny you say that, because I was talking to a buddy of mine and I said, not right off the bat, but what you just said, bring in Masterson back on a low 1 or 2 year deal. I said, now I could see him being plan B. Like maybe they've got a wave of pitchers that they want to go after, whether it's through trade or free agency. But if they don't get him, I could see him being that guy, like when they got Scotty Kazmir a couple years back. Like I could see him being that rehab guy that the Indians love to go after. Why not make it your own guy and bring him back and try to fix him? But this time you're getting him for $5 million or $6 million instead of $17 million,
Yeah, Justin Masterson will regret the day he didn't take the Indians' $28 million.
Oh, I know, man. He'll grow up telling. Let me tell you, son. You want to talk about burning money? Let me tell you the story of my 2014. And he'll have quite a tale to tell. Oh, Justin Masterson, and a good guy too, man. And I'll tell you, I thought that the National League may help him a bit too. It did. He only walked 3 people instead of 6, but his first outing for St. Louis was no different than what we saw of him here in Cleveland, man.
Yeah, same story, just different jersey. But I will say for him, he does have the chance, in a playoff scenario, and if the Cardinals advance to October, if he finds it, his poor 4 months with the Indians will be wiped away fast if Justin Masterson finds it and helps the St. Louis Cardinals win.
I agree, and that's why I said on the day you and I talked last week, a week ago today, I said he's going to the Cardinals. I said my gut tells me that that's the team that thinks that they can get something out of him down the stretch. So we'll see, and if he does, you're right, because we're sitting here talking about a low contract. He has a good stretch run for St. Louis, and he's right back in, at least in that $9-10 million deal for next year. You know what I mean? He's back up
for sure
at that level.
Don't ever forget, it was almost exactly at this time right now, a year ago, the Indians were skipping Ubaldo's start.
Yes.
And he has a 4-year, $48 million deal.
Ubaldo, exactly. Masterson can do the same thing. But that's funny you said about him coming back, because I told somebody, I said I could see him being a maybe January, February free agent for the Indians. If he's still out there and they still need a pitcher, all of a sudden Justin Masterson becomes a lot more attractive, man.
Yeah, I think it's possible.
Mike Brandenberry from DidTheTribeWinLastNight.com. Indians back in Cincinnati for a pair. Salazar and Latos tonight. TJ House, Homer Bailey tomorrow. Then they head to the Bronx. Big series in the wild card race between the Indians and the Yankees coming up this weekend. Mike, thank you so much for being with us, and we'll catch up next week, and we'll see. I mean, that's all we can do at this point is see what 7 days brings us, man.
Hey, it's like I said, it's like Hoosiers. Our team's on the field. Just let them go out and play and see what happens.
That's it. Mike, you have a good one. Thank you so much for being here. We'll catch up next week.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. As always, you guys, DidTheTribeWinLastNight.com. You can tweet with Mike all the time at DidTribeWin. At DidTribeWin on Twitter. It's that simple. You can tweet with me at TheSportsFixCLE. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, still more Sports Fix to come. Talking a little Browns training camp. Browns name a starter for the first preseason game. We'll get into all of that. Open up the phone lines, 216-539-7535 and more. Don't go anywhere. Still more Sports Fix on tap.
Don't need nothing but a good time. How can I resist? Ain't looking for nothing but a good time, and it don't get better than this.
And now, a very special announcement from the Sports Fix.
Black bears weigh between 200 and 500 pounds. Brown bears weigh between 300 and over 1,000 pounds. Black bears run away from you. Brown bears run at you. When attacked by a bear, simply lie still on the ground and cover your face and head with your hands. When the bear is finished batting you around and mauling you, contact the U.S. Forest Service.
And that was a message from the Sports Fix.
Hey guys, before we go to the break, I want to talk to you a little bit again about our good friends at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted. Of course, you know during Brown season, we're there each and every week.